Today's question is it true that everything happens for a reason? In this video, I'll answer that question from a biblical perspective. Afterwards, as always, I'll share some helpful resources, so stick around to the end. Does everything happen for a reason? The short answer is yes, because God is sovereign. There are no random, out-of-control happenings. God's purposes may be hidden from us, but we can be assured that every event has a reason behind it. There was a reason for the blindness of the man in John chapter 9, although the disciples misidentified that reason, John chapter 9 verses 1 through 3. There was a reason for Joseph's mistreatment, although his brothers' purpose in what they did to him was very different from God's purpose in allowing it, Genesis chapter 50 verse 20. There was a reason for Jesus' death. The authorities in Jerusalem had their reasons based on evil intent, and God has his reason based on righteousness. God's sovereignty even extends to the lowliest of creatures. Not one sparrow falls to the ground apart from your Father's will, Matthew chapter 10 verse 29. Several factors help us know that everything happens for a reason. The law of cause and effect, the doctrine of original sin, and the providence of God. All of these demonstrate that everything does happen for a reason, not just by happenstance or by random chance. First, there is the natural law of cause and effect, also known as the law of sowing and reaping. Paul says, "Do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. The one who sows to please his sinful nature, from that nature will reap destruction. The one who sows to please the Spirit, from the Spirit will reap eternal life." Galatians chapter 6 verses 7 through 8. This means that in every action we take or word we utter, whether good or evil, there are certain inevitable results that will follow. Colossians chapter 3 verses 23 through 25. Someone might ask, why am I in jail? Is there a reason for this? And the answer may be, because you robbed your neighbor's house and got caught. That is cause and effect. All that we do is either an investment in the flesh or an investment in the Spirit. We shall reap whatever we have sown, and we shall reap in proportion to how we have sown. Remember this: whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 6. The believer who walks in the Spirit and sows in the Spirit is going to reap a spiritual harvest. If his sowing has been generous, the harvest will be bountiful. If not in this life, certainly in the life to come. Conversely, those who sow in the flesh are going to reap a life without the full blessings of God, both in this life and in the life to come. See Jeremiah chapter 18 verse 10 and 2 Peter chapter 2 verses 10 through 12. The reason some things happen can often be traced back to original sin in the Garden of Eden. The Bible is clear that the world is under a curse, Genesis chapter 3 verse 17, which has resulted in infirmities, diseases, natural disasters, and death. All of these things, although under God's ultimate control, are sometimes used by Satan to inflict misery upon people. See Job chapter 1 and 2. Someone may ask, why did I contract this illness? Is there a reason for it? And the answer may be one or more of the following. 1, because you live in a fallen world and we all are subject to illness. 2, because God is testing you and strengthening your faith. Or 3, because in love, God is disciplining you, according to Hebrews chapter 12 verses 7 through 13 and 1 Corinthians chapter 11 verses 29 through 30. Then we have what is called the providence of God. The doctrine of providence holds that God quietly and invisibly works through the natural world to manage events. God, in his providence, works out his purpose through natural processes in the physical and social universe. Every effect can be traced back to a natural cause, and there is no hint of the miraculous. The best that man can do to explain the reason why things happen in the course of natural events is to point to coincidence. Believers proclaim that God arranges the coincidences. The unbeliever derides such ideas because he believes natural causes can fully explain each event without reference to God. Yet followers of Christ are wholly assured of this profound truth. We know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Romans chapter 8, verse 28. The book of Esther shows divine providence at work. The banishment of Vashti, the selection of Esther, the plot of the assassins, the pride of Haman, the courage of Mordecai, the insomnia of the king, the bloodlust of Zeresh, and the reading of the scroll. Everything in the book happens like cogs in a well-oiled machine to bring about the deliverance of God's people. Although God is never mentioned in Esther, his providence working through coincidence is plain to see. God is always at work in the lives of his people, and in his goodness will bring them to a good end. See Philippians chapter 1, verse 6. The events that define our lives are not simply products of natural causes or random chance. They are ordained by God and are intended for our good. We often fail to sense God's hidden guidance or protection as events in our lives unfold. But if we look back at past events, we're able to see his hand more clearly, even in times of tragedy. Want to learn more? Subscribe so you don't miss the next video. Visit GotQuestions.org for more great content, and check out the details section below this video. There's one book I recommend, along with several related questions. If you'd like to learn about Bible Munch, or if you're interested in bite-sized devotionals, subscribe to Bible Munch on YouTube. It's linked right here. Now remember, if you've got questions, the Bible has answers and will help you find them.